a little difficult to describe and to really paint, even with photos, much less words. Food distributions were taking place, and our trucks were moving around, and you've got a few kernels of grains that are falling off here and there, young and old. There wasn't one area that wasn't gleaned so that every kernel was picked up and sifted out of the sand, so that nothing was wasted.
And as we heard and saw the stories from our partners that have been there, many for 15 years, saying this is something that we haven't seen in our lifetime in this region, and it's decimating parts of the Horn of Africa.
I don't think any of us were prepared to deal with hunger and starvation on this level, of hundreds of thousands of people having a very dire outcome being predicted.
There's just another level of reality that hits your heart in a different way and causes you to respond. I don't think there's a way to not respond.
I ended up going to the meeting where Sultan first presented his request for food for his people in Lower Shabelle, and he was desperate, and he came to us pleading for food at a time when we really didn't have the funds or the food to allocate for Somalia.
Here we are once again in a situation where we need to go above and beyond our capacity, above and beyond where we had our resources for this year. At the board meeting, there is a lot of conversation about what is that number and what's the risk we're willing to take. And one of the board members looked at her fellow board members and said, we know how desperate this is. If we don't do this, I simply don't know why I'm on this board.
Our first step was to reach out to partners that we know very well and we know have expertise in the countries of Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia. They have the firm distribution channels, they have the Christian Compassion outreach, and they know the local culture.
So when we got to that point, we just flat out started setting up the shipments. We turn up our sights a little bit. Everybody, it just becomes a big team effort. We start getting food out the door.
So when we actually got a full shipment together of close to 270,000 meals to send directly to southern Somalia, we invited the Sultan to come, and there were a couple other members of the Somali community, and with that it was a great marker along the way of our relationship and what has come of this partnership between FMSC and the Somali community.
We have actually pledged right now 279,000 meals from Feed My Starving Children, and we are planning that food to reach actually where it's really needed.
This situation is not going to resolve itself in the next few months. So as we've seen in Haiti and other places, there will be a rush of support from the world community. And then after that simmers down or our attention goes somewhere else in the world, many of those organizations will leave, and what will be left will be those organizations that are in it for the long run. We're one of those organizations.
God has directed our attention, Feed My Starving Children and individuals, to this area for the long term.
It's an honor to be a part of that kind of ministry, that kind of compassion, that kind of response in a very tangible way through food.